Call your friends, call your neighbors. This could be the best Raspberry Pi 3B Plus Retropie 4.4, over almost 27,000 games, 256 gigabyte, fits on most SDs. Call your friends, call your neighbors, share this out, because you're in for a big treat. Wolfanoz back at it again. He says this is his, this is his mother of all builds. He spent a ton of time on this. This thing should have been released weeks ago. The reason why is he had some issues with the Atari, some issues with PSP. He wanted to have it so no matter what system you're playing, you can use your controller. And that was almost a thing. There's just a couple of the computers, or just one that I know of, which is Amiga. You have to use a keyboard to exit some of the games. But besides that, everything is controller friendly. Even Atari 5200, the Apple II, CPC, a lot of great stuff. So this is running Dwayne Hurst. I believe this is the Switch theme. I'm sure this has, or White Slide, which looks like a Twitch. You also have the Dark Switch as well. Carbon, Showcase, Synthwave, and then back to White Slide that we're on now. Something else I want to go before we start getting into these games that was really nice, that's actually killer, is to get into the Retropie Setup over here. This has all of the Motion Blue scripts on it. So it does come with background music, for example, and it's really easy to turn that off because this has the background music script. The bezel project is on here as well. You got, I tested Bluetooth. Some people have been having issues with the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus. I am running this on the 3B Plus, and I was able to successfully pair my Nintendo Pro controller. The Wii U Pro controller does work. You got your collections, you got your gameless utilities, you can change out your themes really, well that's pretty standard, but GPIO shutdown is installed, the launching screen script is installed, media removal script, the bezel installer script is installed as well as the bezel project as you saw, and then switch Genesis to Mega Drive, and then the Wi-Fi is ready, so you just need to set up your localization. A lot of people have been having issues with previous images that are running the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus 4.4, and this one is working perfectly. I got mine to work, so you're all good there. So to get started, you're super squared away in those systems there, or those setup files there. So Amiga, 2,227 games, people. So it looks like there's, for when there is video snaps, this is rocking the picture and then a video snap. I don't blame him for not getting all the artwork here. It's really hard to get all the Amiga artwork. It's just, there's not as big of a community, I don't think, collecting that kind of artwork. CPC, 3,079 games. So this one looks like there's a complete artwork pack for most of it. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Apple II, 172 games. So it looks like just some photos for these. And we're starting with a lot of the obscure systems that just don't have as much support on them, as big of a fan base, I think, for the Retropie. Arcade Classics, 2,270. And for those of you that don't know, Wolfanoz helped Mad Little Pixel and improved on some of those previous arcade-only builds. So the arcade configs are totally up to date. They're running the correct emulators, so they should all be running. And then with that bezel pack, we should have some really nice bezels as well when we jump in here. You can see we have custom loading screens. And then I just want to jump in here really quick to see what kind of bezels we're working with. But I imagine the bezels, are installed. So you get custom bezels for all the different arcade games already installed. And that was something that started with Motion Blue version 6, which is carried over here. Atari 2600, 2,865, including hacked games. So a lot of hacks in here. Wow, I was wondering why there were so many. Look at all these hacks. Jeez Louise. This is impressive. And he's got a little screen scraper default picture on some of these. That's awesome. So if you're an Atari fan, look no further. Atari 5200, so has all of these. It's my understanding though that he doesn't have the controller, this is one thing that didn't change over, didn't save over. So you do need to go into RetroArch here and change this. This is one fix you do need to do. I'm told that you have to go into RetroArch here, so select an X, and then you need to go over to Controls, and you need to switch this to Atari Joystick. So once you fix that, Atari 5200, love, working good. Start selects right out, so really nice. Atari 7800, 65. Atari Handheld Link, 76. Commodore 64, 310. ColecoVision, 158 games there. Really nice. Daphne 3, you got Dragon's Lair 2, Dragon's Lair 1, and the classic. Oop, we jumped around there. There we go. And Space Ace. Dragon 32, nice to see. 539 games for you old schools. Really nice. Super old school. So here's Dreamcast, and as you can see, if you click it, these are folder systems, so as you click in, there's Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Power Stone, Sonic Adventure, Soul Calibur, Sword of the Berserk. So let's go ahead and launch Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And again, you will need to configure your Dreamcast controls to get to this point, but it should run once you do that, and I show you how to do that in this video. On the computer, you got 1181, and you have pictures and video snaps. On the computer, disk system 79, Nintendo Game & Watch 55, Sega Game Gear 286, Game Boy 618, so you got the hacks in there as well. Game Boy Advance 1071, so you got those hacks as well in there. Nice to see. Game Boy Color 581. Let's go ahead and just launch a Game Boy game. I just want to check out what kind of bezels, what kind of resolution we're working with there. I know a lot of people like to know. All right, next. So totally bezeled out. Perfect, not stretching this image out. This is a great way to play Game Boy Advance and Game Boy as well. In television, 181. Looks like we have video snaps on there. Master System, you got 385. This theme is running really fast too. So this is why Raspberry Pi 3 1.4 gigahertz, nice little upgrade. Sega Mega Drive 974, because that's going to include a bunch of hack games as well. A lot of video snaps. Sega Mega Drive, so the exported if you're in the U.S. the Japanese version. Really cool. MSX 552, MSX 250, Nintendo 64 340. So that means there must maybe some prototypes in here or some other stuff. So this is nice to see. Nintendo DS. I've seen a lot of the images coming out lately don't have Nintendo DS. And so this has got to be one of the only Retropie 4.4 images with the Nintendo DS on it already. And the Nintendo DS has some awesome games. Mario Party, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Mega Man's. Ton of great games. Tony Hawk, Worms, cool stuff. So with video snaps, metadata, beautiful. I'm gonna spend some time there for sure. Neo Geo 140, nice to see. NES 1400, because you got the unreleased games, right? We've got unreleased games here. We've got hacked games, tons of hacks, tons of Castlevanias, Final Fantasies, Golf, Legends of Zelda, Mega Man's, Metroids, RBI Best Belt, Rockman, Super Mario Brothers hack, a lot of Super Mario Brothers, maybe a few extras in there. Okay, so ton, plus you could go back and then just play your regular NES games as well. Neo Geo Pocket 9, Neo Geo Pocket Color 81, Zorik, you got 1153, PC Games 1972. What is this guy doing? So those of you that want some DOSBox, look no further. This PC Games icon though is throwing me off because if you have a GTX 1080 and you're in DOSBox, I mean, it sounds really backwards, but again, I got to give somebody props. If they're running a liquid-cooled computer, well, I guess those aren't liquid-cooled, but if you're running, oh, that is, the one on the front is definitely liquid-cooled. You can see the radiator. Wow, then you're a hardcore. So Dune, Dune 2, Elder Scroll, Epic Pinball. If you guys didn't catch it, about a week ago, I did a whole. I keep pressing over. I did a little stream on all these great games. Jurassic Park. I'm gonna have to play a lot of this again. Wow. PC Engine 149, PC Engine CD-ROM 6. Ports, you got Doom, Doom 2, Duke Nukem 3D, Quake, Quake 3 Arena, and Wolfenstein 3D. PSP. So we were talking about this. He was texting me like what games work, what games don't work. You know, I told him don't put in God of War, which he didn't. But these games should run on your system no problem. I don't know if this game will run. Haven't tried it. Mega Man runs. Loco Roco runs. Daxter should run. Castlevania runs. Burnout I haven't tried. We'll check that out. Then it brings into our PSP minis. 291, 321 Super Crash. Great game. A lot of little mini games here. A lot of fun. Then we got PlayStation. Even on this 256 gig, we could still pack on the PlayStation games with the, with all these video snaps. These video snaps are taking up a ton of space. Even though there's not video snaps for every single game, there's still probably close to 15,000 video snaps. So for those of you looking at what's on the PlayStation collection, I know a lot of you guys like to know what's on the PS1. Here you go. This video is getting kind of long, so I'm probably not going to do much gameplay. Retropie, Scum VM, great games on here as well. So some box art here, no video snaps it looks like, which is fine. Still great to see Scum VM. Don't leave these out. There's some good gems in here. Some good gems as well. Monkey Island, Sam & Max Hit the Road, great game. Space Quest, The Dig by Lucasfilms, Curse of Monkey Island. What was I saying? Oh yeah, with video snaps, there's a ton of them, and then we're not going to be able to play a lot of games because there's just so many. This video is just going to be an overview. Sega CD 122. The reason I'm laughing is this is just ridiculous. This is a ridiculous image. 488. Nice. SG 1062. Super Nintendo 1021. Super Graphics 5. TurboGrafx 6029. Super Graphics 1694. Vectrex 34. Video Pack 131. Virtual Boy 22. WonderSwan 110. WonderSwan Color 95. Z Machine 3 games. Sinclair ZX Spectrum 377, Atari Classic. So now we're into the collection. So these are repeats of games that are already in there, just the system. So all the Mortal Kombat games for all the different systems, all the Nintendo games for all the classic Nintendo, Sega Classic, shoot 'em ups, SNK, Sonic, Williams, Zelda, all the Zelda games on here. Look at that. That'll take you about a year to beat all of those from start to finish. And all games again, 2600, 908. Go to Retropie Setup, and then inside Retropie Setup there should be configuration and tools. Rycast, click OK is the first one, and then this should boot up configure controls. Go ahead and hit Enter. You do need a keyboard for this, so I want my Afterglow to Enter. Do you want to map an exit button? Yes. I like to use the either select or the Xbox button if you have an Xbox 360. Do you want an A button? Yes. So you click A. Do you want a B button? Yes. Click B. Do you want a C button? I don't do C. Do you want a D? No. Do you want an X? Yes. And then hit X on my controller. Yes. Hit Y on your controller. Z. No. Start. Yes. Hit the start button. D-pad 1. Yes. Go left on your D-pad. Press up on your D-pad. Do you want a D-pad 2? No. Do you want to map? No. Do you want to map a trigger left? Yes. Map your trigger. Do you want a trigger right? Yes. Map a trigger right. Do you want an analog stick? Yes. As far left as possible, as far up as possible, and then you're done. Favorites works. These are some of his favorites. I'm going to go ahead and go through these favorites as we wrap up this video. Wow, wow, wow. Wolfanoz, you continue to impress me, buddy. I got to give this one an A. A+ even. As far as does this beat the Virtual Man 256 6.2.3 or whatever the last Virtual Man release was, I don't know. I got to take a better look at this, but there's definitely some things that Wolfanoz's done here that are not done on the V-Man image. So for that, massive kudos. As I mentioned earlier in the video, this guy, waited for the release, tested everything out, got it all working. Everything from, he had issues with PSP, he was having issues with Atari, especially with a lot of these computer consoles like the Apple II, Commodore. These systems are hard because they're keyboard. They want to run a keyboard, so you got to customize all that in RetroArch and make sure it's working with the controller, get all the hotkeys working, get it to boot quickly. He used, whenever he could, he used the better files as far as the computer system, so they auto-load, faster loading. You don't have to wait for the CD to spin for some of these systems, and really, really good stuff. So with all that said, A+, thank you, Wolfanoz. That's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.